We're going to replace the starter on this 2009 Nissan Cube. First step's to disconnect the battery, negative first, then positive, and tuck those cables so they're out of your way. Next we need to remove this upper air duct inlet. This is just grommeted into place by 3 grommets and then attaches to the lower air duct inlet, so just pull up on that to remove it. The lower air duct inlet is snapped into place on one end, so you'll need to pry up with a screwdriver to get that unsnapped, and then it's fastened into place on the other end with 2 push pin rivets, so you'll have to pop out those rivets and you'll be able to remove that lower air duct inlet. The last thing that needs to be removed before we can get access to the starter is this coolant reservoir. It's just snapped into place, so grab it with both hands and use your left thumb to press on the snap that's hiding behind the filler cap, lift up and put that reservoir out of the way. Now with the air ducts and the coolant reservoir removed, you'll get your first glimpse, albeit obscured, of the starter. It's a starter solenoid combo. It's got 2 harnesses going to it, and it's attached to the flywheel case by 2 bolts. To give ourselves a little bit more working room, we're going to remove this oil pressure switch connector, which, by the way, confounded me initially. You have to press on the bottom of that connector to release it. Here's a closer look at the connector. Next, we'll remove the B terminal harness. The B terminal is the larger of the 2 terminals, so we're going to pull back the rubber boot on that B terminal and use a 12mm socket to remove the B terminal harness. Tuck that B harness away, and let's repeat the process with the smaller S terminal harness. This time use an 8mm socket to detach that harness and tuck it away as well. With everything else out of the way, we can go after those 2 18mm bolts that hold the starter to the flywheel case. Now it's still super tight in here, and I went through a bunch of different variations to try to find a setup that would fit right. In the end, I used this 3/8" ratchet with a 3" wobble extension and the 18mm deep well socket. And once you've broken both bolts free, it's probably easier just to back them out the rest of the way using only the extension or even just your fingers. Now, I only show one of the bolts being removed in this video because it was tough to get a shot of the other bolt being removed, but once you remove both of the bolts, you'll be able to remove the starter solenoid combo. Do that gently so that you don't bang into the oil pressure sensor. And once you've got it out of the engine compartment, do a quick comparison to make sure the auto parts store gave you the right part. And if the new part looks correct, go ahead and slide that back into the engine compartment and reinstall it using all of the steps that we just covered in reverse.